everybody. It is a really, really stinking hot day, and I'm out here on the porch with my pup friends. And I thought I would put together a really quick video about some of the dishes that I make that are frugal. Right now, it's kind of like tough to get a lot of the stuff that we want to get, and so it's kind of nice to have a few recipes that you know are going to be like really great and very versatile, that are going to just smash it on the flavor scale, and everybody's going to really like them. The first one is it's a green pepper casserole. It tastes like a stuffed green pepper, but it is a casserole. And so what I found out is that, you know, it makes a good amount. You could actually take the amount, eat it just like that, or take it, actually stuff it into a blanched, you know, green pepper, and then bake it into the oven. So it'll be kind of like twice cooked. And then just sprinkle some cheese on that and melt it, and it would be amazing. But also what we did was we used some of that casserole to put a little bit on top of nachos with some homemade beans, and we had a really killer nacho dish. The second recipe is actually porcupine meatballs, and that means, you know, you can take either ground beef or turkey and make the meatballs out of them, but you're going to stretch them out by using rice. What I've found is with just plain turkey meatballs, hubby doesn't care for them. I don't care for them because they're too tough, right? But if I put the rice in them, and I do use brown rice, it stretches the meat a little bit more, but it also makes the meatballs really, really soft, and they taste rather good. So we use them either with spaghetti, or we've made meatball sandwiches out of them. There's just like so many different things you can do with these meatballs, and you can really stretch them out. So that's the second recipe, and I get them both. I think they both came out of the same book. They are both Instant Pot recipes, and I'm thinking you could probably slow cook them on the stove for a long time, but you'd have to watch your liquid to make sure that they don't scorch. Otherwise, it's just it's definitely worth getting an Instant Pot over if you don't already have one, to use a pressure cooker. But it's so much faster. All right, let's take a look at the ingredients here. First of all, this is the recipe. You can take a screenshot of it. I really highly recommend this book. This is a really tasty dish, and this is the book Fix-It and Forget-It Instant Pot Cookbook by Hope Comerford. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to use a pound of ground beef. I think beef would work better than turkey in this recipe. I got this on sale yesterday. I'm also using a half a cup of diced onion, 3 minced garlic cloves, 3 or 4. I'm using 3 green peppers. Those are going to be diced. 3/4 cup of brown rice, and then 6 ounces of diced chili, green chilies, 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt, half teaspoon of chili powder, 24 ounces of marinara sauce, and a can of diced tomatoes. Oh, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. All right, so I'm going to get the olive oil and the ground beef into my Instant Pot, and I'm just going to kind of like brown it up a bit. And while that's happening, the next thing I'm doing is I'm chopping up all my veggies, and I'm just going to add in my onions, my peppers, and let those cook a little bit. I want them to get kind of soft, right? And then after I get those in there, I'm going to turn off the saute button, because that's what I'm doing, is just sauteing them in the pan right now. And I'm going to put my garlic in as well. All the remaining ingredients. Now, the directions say do not stir. I did not read that. I actually stirred it, and so I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? Guess what happened? Nothing. So nothing happened if I stirred it. Next time I'll try not to stir it like it says and see if that made a difference. But honestly, I thought it was absolutely fabulous, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. So I don't really know why they didn't want me to stir it. But anyway, you can do either one. So here's the rice. I accidentally stirred it in. Now, I have made things before, and I put the, in the Instant Pot, and I put the rice on top, and I didn't stir it, and it came out beautiful. So either way, I'd say try it without stirring it. Maybe it comes out better. I don't know. All right, next I'm going to put I'm just going to set it. I'm going to secure the lid, make sure the vent is sealed, and I'm going to turn it on for 10 minutes. Look at this. You have to let the pressure release naturally this time, but it is so nice and thick and comforting. And this is just, I can't tell you how fabulous this was. It was really great. Everybody loved it. It is time for a frugal recipe here. These are called Porcupine Meatballs, and they actually come out of one of my favorite cookbooks, which is Fix-It and Forget-It Instant Pot Cookbook by Hope Comerford. Anybody could have guessed that. I love this book, and as soon as the library opens up again, I'm going to turn this in and I'm going to buy it because it is great. All right, so my ingredients here are 1 pound of ground turkey. This is 2 pounds. I'm just going to have it and use half of that. 1 egg, 1/4 teaspoon of and/or basil and/or oregano, and I'm using 1/4 teaspoon of both because it really does add a lot to this dish. 1/2 cup of white rice, long grain, or what I'm doing is using brown rice, long grain. And it comes out just fine with this one. I don't have any problems. And I'm going to be using 3 garlics, and I'm going to mince them. And I'm going to be using 1 small can of tomato soup. It is 10.75 ounces. You can use Campbell's. This happens to be Winco. I'm also going to be using 1/2 can of water, and I have forgotten 1/2 cup of chopped onion, and that's not here, so I'm going to go grab my onion. I've got everything in my mixing bowl here except for the water and the tomato sauce, and I'm going to mix this all up really good and form them into 1.5 inch balls in diameter. I might just use a small ice cream scoop because it's easier. All right, so I'm going to put the tomato soup and the water into the Instant Pot. So I mixed the soup in the water and then put the raw meatballs very carefully into the soup mixture. And now I'm going to seal the lid and cook it for about 10 minutes. Here's the magic moment. There are my meatballs, and they stick just a little bit on the bottom sometimes, but it's not a real big deal. They still are super soft, but they hold their shape. Everybody loves them. My husband wanted them 2 days in a row, so I had to make them again. They are so good. Now, something that you can do with these meatballs, instead of cooking them in tomato soup, is you can cook them in chicken broth or some other type of a broth, make a soup or stew. I've done that too, and they were just fabulous. So play around with it. It doesn't have to be in the tomato soup, but these are really great. Okay guys, I hope you enjoy those 2 recipes. I really recommend that book. These are really great recipes for going into a recession or not being in a recession anyway. Just wanting to save money, stretch your budget, and have real tasty food. So anyway, I hope you enjoy them, and I will see you next time. Bye.